thanks for joining me today for this lower body stretch. We're going to need a strap or belt, so literally a belt that you'd put around your trousers is absolutely fine, or if you have a yoga strap, that's good. Also a small towel would work, and a block, so if you have a yoga brick, great. Otherwise, a thick book, small coffee table, a chair, anything that is quite sturdy that you can support yourself on. So have them to the side, and we're going to start in our child's pose. So we're just going to come onto our knees and bring our hips to our heels, walk the hands forward and rest the head on the ground. So just be quite passive here and just check in with how your body feels today. It's a nice stretch for the back and the hips to be in child's pose, so just take some deep breaths. Breathing space and length into the spine, opening up through the back of the ribs with every inhale, and every exhale deepening into this stretch, maybe sending the hips a little further to the heels or walking the fingertips further forward, just getting a bit of a stretch happening here. Slowing down your breath. Just letting yourself arrive in this space, ready to practice. Now, nice and easy, without losing your rhythm of breath, bring yourself into a downward dog. So just shift the weight onto the hands, tuck the toes, send the hips up and back into that downward dog, pedaling through the heels, finding a stretch into the back of the legs. Fingers spread wide to give your hands a nice firm support. Releasing the neck. And just observing what your body feels like here in this position. Stay with those deep breaths. See where they reach in your body. Can you get your inhale a little deeper? Can you exhale out a little longer? Just finding stillness here. Even if it's a little bit uncomfortable, just stay with it. Or this might feel really nice, just what your body needs. So regardless of how it feels, you're staying here and just staying with your breath. And then quietly place those knees back down onto the floor. And we'll come to 4-point kneeling. So in 4-point kneeling now, our hands are underneath our shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Just shift your left knee a little closer to the right, so it's a little bit more in the center. And you're going to take the right leg up and start to draw a circle with your right knee. So we're opening up through the hip joint here. You can go small, you can go big, just however your hip joint feels today. You can involve your spine into this, so you're not trying to keep your spine completely still. You can let yourself twist and round and extend through the spine. You could change direction of that circle. And just stay with those deep breaths here. So even in the effort of circling this knee around, keep breathing. Try not to hold your breath. Good. All right, landing that right foot to the outside of your right hand. So we end up in a wide, low lunge, like a lizard lunge. Grab your block or whatever you're using for your block. And you're just going to find a deep stretch here into this low lunge, so that back knee stays down. And just support yourself on the block. If you are feeling quite open already today, you can bring your elbows to the block. Rocking side to side can help ease out any tension in the muscles. And just making sure that your right shin is vertical and your back knee is far enough back that you can get the opening through the front of the left hip. So sometimes when we step that right foot forward, it ends up not far enough. So we have a deep bend in that knee and we're not getting enough into the hip and the hamstring. So even if you have to use your hand to pull that leg forward, make sure that that right foot is far enough forward so the ankle is directly underneath that knee. And now we're going to bring ourselves up a little bit further from that stretch. You can keep your hands on your block here or bring your hands to the floor. We're going to inhale, draw the hips back and pick up the right toe. So the right foot is flexed and you have a nice hamstring stretch and a calf stretch. Exhale, rebend into that right knee to come back to lizard lunge. Inhale, send the hips back, stretching through that hamstring. And exhale, come forward, maybe lifting the chest a little, finding a little bit of work in the back body. Just keep moving with your breath here, going forward and back. You may need to adjust your back knee or front foot to get the hamstring stretch comfortable. Sometimes we don't always land in the right place. So just make sure that when you bring your hips back, you feel a stretch through the back of your right thigh and it feels comfortable to maintain. Good. Now we're going to pause when the knee is bent once again. Place the left hand on the ground or on the block and reach your right arm forward and then up to the ceiling to take a twist. Push the floor away with the left hand so that you feel supported through your upper body and reach the right fingertips toward the ceiling, breathing into the chest. If you want to take this twist a little bit deeper, you can reach even further back. And if you want to go even deeper with the legs here, pick up that back foot and grab hold of it with that right hand, sinking into the left hip and breathe. Sometimes it helps to come onto the outer edge of that right foot and send the knee a little bit wider. That just gives you a little bit more depth in the hips. But if that doesn't feel good for you, don't worry about it. One more deep breath here. And then gently release. Bring that right hand back to the floor next to your right foot. And we're going to send our hips back into that hamstring stretch again. Now in this hamstring stretch, we're going to take another twist. So inhale, reach your right arm forward and then up toward the ceiling to stay in a twist whilst we're sitting back into that hamstring. Once again, support yourself on that left hand, pushing the floor away so that you feel strong in the shoulders and through the spine. And if you can, draw those right toes up toward the ceiling to involve the calf. If that's too much, you can let the toes stay down. Sometimes the hamstring is enough in this pose. Try to keep that right hip down. Don't let it hitch up as you twist. One more breath. And then releasing the right hand back down. And then we're going to take that right foot back behind us so that it's long. So we're on those tucked toes in an all fours position. And then we twist or pivot, onto the right, pivot onto the left knee into a side plank. So that right leg is long, your right arm is reaching up overhead. Inhale here and lift your rib cage further toward the ceiling. And then exhale, bring that right hand back down by your right leg. Inhale, lift and make more space through the right rib cage. And exhale, bring that right hand back down. One more, inhale, reach. And then exhale, pick up your right foot and see if you can catch it behind you to have another quad stretch here. So stretching through the front of the thigh. If you can't catch your foot, you're just going to place that right foot down behind you somewhere and bring your right hand to your hip and send your hips forward. and see if you can create a bit of length and space through the front of that hip like that. Otherwise, just supporting yourself in your side plank is fine. If you have hold of your foot, kick the foot into the hand to get that extra bit of stretch through the front of the thigh, squeezing through your right butt cheek, your glute, and your hamstring. One more deep breath in here. And then exhale, release. Bringing yourself back to all fours. Let's come back into downward dog. Or if you need a little rest, a little breather, you can bring yourself back to child's pose. So bring your hips back to your heels. Otherwise, if you're in downward dog, just take a few breaths, pedal through the heels. Find a sense of equality through your body before we move to the next side. So this is just to become aware of the body as a whole once again. As when we do our yoga poses, they're quite one-sided. So before we move on to the next side, it's always good to recalibrate through our whole body and reconnect with ourselves before the second side. One more deep breath here. And then exhale, bringing those knees back down to the floor. Good, I'm just going to turn around so that I can still face the camera. Okay, so now we're going to take that left leg up into the air, bend the knee, and start to circle your knee around so that we're opening up through the hip joint. Remember, fingers nice and wide on the mat to support the upper body. The spine can get involved here. Just let yourself move freely to enable that range of movement through the hip joint. Make sure your breath stays regular and deep. Change direction of that circle. Good, one more. And then bringing that left foot to the outside edge of the mat, just next to your left hand. Find your block, or if you don't need a block, you're just going to place your hands on the floor, introducing that stretch on this side, the lizard lunge on the left side. So once again, just making sure that that left shin is vertical and your back knee is far enough back that you can get a little bit of opening through the front of the right thigh. If you're feeling open enough, you can come to your elbows. So one side might feel tighter than the other. I know for me, this is my tighter side. So just, if this is your tighter side, breathe a little deeper into it. If it's not, then just enjoy the stretch. Enjoy it feeling a little more comfortable than the other side. Again, just rocking the hips side to side gently if that feels like it helps your hips to open anymore. And try not to hang your head here. Keep your neck long, relatively in line with the spine. We just don't want to drop it all the way down. Or lifting it all the way up. We don't want to be tensing through the neck. So just think of relaxing your neck without hanging it down. Okay, let's coming into our hamstring stretch. So either stay with your hands on the block or hands on the floor. We inhale, lengthen, sit the hips back and straighten that left leg. Left toes point toward the ceiling. Exhale, come forward into that lizard lunge again. Inhale, send the hips back. And exhale, send the hips forward, maybe taking that little bit of a chest lift. Exhale, coming back, toes to the ceiling if you can. Inhale, come forward. 2 more times. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And finally, inhale, we stay here and come into our twist. So that right hand stays down. Inhale, reach the left hand forward and then up toward the ceiling, pressing the floor away through that right hand. So we're lifting up through our shoulders and our torso. Looking up toward the ceiling to continue the rotation through our spine. And then if you can, we're picking up that back foot, grabbing hold of it and finding that deeper stretch into the front of the right thigh and hip. Deep breaths here, opening the chest, Sinking that right hip a bit lower if you can, as well being able to open the left knee out to the side a bit further if that helps you access a deeper twist, a deeper range of hip stretch. Just remembering to breathe through any discomfort, so never holding the breath when it gets a little uncomfortable or difficult. One more breath here. And then gently release that back foot if you had it. Return your left hand to the mat and sit your hips back toward that right heel, reaching the left toes up toward the ceiling. And we take another twist here in our hamstring stretch. So inhale, reach the left arm forward and then rotate up toward the ceiling. Supporting your upper body with that right arm. Trying to keep that left hip back and down. Left toes toward the ceiling if you can. This one always feels a little awkward, but it's very good. It challenges you to stay with your breath, as the discomfort of it can make our mind start to chatter too much, wanting us to get out of it, bringing up every thought possible other than this pose. So it's good mind training to stay focused on the task at hand. Good, one more breath here. And then releasing that left hand back down, returning into that lunge and then sending that left leg back so that you're back in your all fours. We're now going to lengthen that left leg to come into that side plank. So we pivot on the right knee, so the right foot is behind us and we're facing the side. That left arm is reaching overhead. The left foot is in line with the hips and the shoulders. Inhale here, lift the rib cage a little higher, and then exhale, release the arm down by your side. Inhale, reach and lift, find a side bend, opening through the left ribs, and then exhale, release. One more inhale, reach, breathe in, and then exhale, catching your left foot behind you, kicking your foot into your hand. If you can't reach your foot, you're just finding the floor behind you with that left foot as much as you can, sending the hips forward, that left hand on the hips. Good. If you have your foot, you're kicking the foot into your hand, squeezing through the left hamstring, the left glute. So the glute is the butt cheek. So activating the back of your leg is going to help open the front of your leg. It's just a little safer and helps the muscles open up a little more. Good, one more deep breath here. And then exhale, release, come back into all fours. Once again, either taking your child's pose or your downward dog. Breathing into whatever option you've chosen. Connecting back to the whole body again. Now, if you're in child's pose, join me in downward dog. And we're going to take the right leg up into the air. So I'm just going to change direction once again. So take the right leg up into the air. And then bend the knee and do your knee circles now in your downward dog. So a little trickier. If this isn't working for you, come back to all fours for those knee circles. Good, change direction. Good, and then lengthen the right leg up toward the ceiling, sending the left heel down toward the floor. Take a big inhale. And then exhale, bring that right foot through in between the hands, and we'll come straight into our warrior two. So you pivot the back foot so that it's parallel with the short side of the mat. Arms wide, gaze is over the right middle finger. So the right knee should be bent so the knee is on top of your right ankle. So from here, we're going to take our block and bring our block in front of that right foot and reach the left arm overhead. So we have this nice opening through the left side of the body, gluing the outside edge of that left foot down to the floor, breathing into the left lungs, reaching all the way through to those left fingertips, pushing our weight into the block, or if you can, the floor. So if you can get that knee bend and that depth in the hip, you're going to be pushing the hand into the floor. Good, make sure that your chest is opening toward the ceiling slightly so that we're not rounding down here. And then bring the left arm toward the ceiling, so not overhead anymore, it's now reaching up toward the ceiling. Keep your right hand on the block and start to straighten that right leg. So if you weren't on the block and you were on the floor with your hand, you're going to keep your fingertips on the floor and straighten that right leg so that we're now in our triangle pose. If your left arm is getting sore, just bring it down by your side, maybe holding onto the hip is also fine. Think about drawing your right thigh bone up into the right hip socket, so we're not just sinking into our right knee and our hip, we're lifting the right leg up into the pelvis, keeping a little bit of weight out of the right heel. Beautiful. Now from here, we're going to bend into that right knee once again. Take the block as far forward as you can. Step that left foot a little closer to your right foot, and then float that left leg up into your half moon. So our left hip is still stacked on top of the right hip, so the hips are opening to the left, and the left fingertips are up toward the ceiling. Breathe here, stare at a place on the floor where you can keep your focus. Switch on your core to help keep centered here. And then slowly, we're going to find our way back to warrior two. So bend into the right knee, place the left foot back down, release the block, warrior two. Then we're going to take that left hand down the left leg, reach the right arm up toward the ceiling to take our reverse warrior, breathing into the right side body. And then finally here, we're going to come into our side stretch. So the right toes are going to turn a quarter turn to the left, so a quarter turn inwards. And then we're going to turn the left heel a quarter turn to the right, so a quarter turn toward the right foot, if that makes sense. If you're not sure, just copy what my feet are doing on the video. And then you're going to sit your hips down into your side stretch. So you may need to adjust your feet here because sometimes our ankle mobility gets in the way of the hip mobility. So make sure that your legs are wide enough to get this side stretch happening. It's not going to work if you're here. See, I can't get down because my right foot is too far underneath me. Get that right foot away so your legs are nice and wide. Sit down into that side stretch. You can always use your block for support in front. I would recommend trying to keep that right heel down so that you're working on ankle mobility. And you have a choice. You can keep your left foot grounded like this, or you can lift your left toes up, but that makes it a little deeper into the right hip, okay? So it's completely up to you. Stay here and just experience and breathe with the stretch. Or you're going to take a twist. So we'll keep that right hand on the floor, reach the left arm up into your rotation. Your right hand can also be on your block here if that feels better. Three deep breaths here. Beautiful. And then turning to frame the right foot in our lunge position, stepping back into downward dog. A couple of deep breaths in downward dog, release the head, send the heels toward the ground. Again, find that sense of equanimity between or in your body. So you're feeling the whole body as one, not just one side and the other. And then let's go to the second side. So taking that left leg up toward the ceiling, bend the knee and start to circle your knee. Rotating through the hip, deep breaths. Again, you can do this in all fours if it's too much in downward dog. Change direction of that circle. And then lengthening that left leg all the way up toward the ceiling, sending that right foot, the right heel down toward the floor. Deep inhale. Exhale, send the left foot between the hands to come into warrior two on the left side. So once again, that back foot is parallel to the short side of the mat, left toes facing forward, left knee facing forward on top of the left ankle. Arms wide, gaze over the left middle finger. Relax the shoulders. Bringing this into extended side angle, so taking the block, or not if you have the flexibility, and bring your left hand to the block or to the floor. Reach the right arm overhead. Breathe into that long line of the right side of your body, from the outside edge of your right foot to the right fingertips, including your right hip and right lung. Turning your chest toward the ceiling slightly, just to make sure we're opening here, checking that that left knee isn't caving in, so you can use your left elbow to keep pushing that left knee back. Keeping your left hand where it is, we're going to take the right arm toward the ceiling and straighten the left leg into triangle pose. Turning the head to look at the right fingertips. If that's not comfortable, you can also look down toward the floor or straight ahead. If right arm is getting tired, take it to the hip. Think about lengthening your left leg up into your pelvis, keeping the weight out of your left heel. So ground through the left ball of the foot here and draw the left kneecap up the thigh. So you're squeezing the left thigh or the left quad muscle, like you're trying to draw the knee up into the hip. Okay, let's look down and in front of the left foot, bend into the left knee. Place the block as far forward as you can in front of you. Take your right foot closer to the left leg and then float that right foot off the floor, coming into your half moon. Oh, I'm feeling quite wobbly this side. So just keep looking at a place on the floor. You have an all-over awareness of what your body is doing in space, even though you're not seeing it. So feel that right hip stacked on top of the left hip. Feel your right fingertips reaching toward the ceiling. Feel your left side body lifting away from the floor. Lengthen through your spine and through the back of your neck. Use the block for support. Take it a little more to the left if you're struggling here. And then with proprioception, we're bending into the left knee and finding our right foot back into our warrior two. So you have to kind of guess where your right foot's going to land and see if you can land it in the right place for warrior two. So back of the heels aligned. Inhale, reach back into your reverse warrior. So left arm comes to the ceiling, right arm reaches down the right leg. Breathe into the left lung. And then taking it into our side stretch. So turn the left foot forward slightly, a quarter turn to the right, and then sitting down into that left knee. So your left knee is now angled on a diagonal forward. It's not facing the short side of the mat anymore. It's angled forward. Make sure those legs are wide enough. Like I said on the first side, we don't want to be stuck with our foot underneath us because then we can't get the depth. Once you've found where you want to be in this side stretch, you're going to take your twist. Twist is optional actually, so if you want to just hang out in side stretch and feel it, breathe into it, open up through the hips, you can stay there or add the twist. Remember not to hold your breath. stay with each inhale and exhale as individuals. One inhale, one exhale. The next inhale, the next exhale. Just think of it like that. And then taking that right arm down, we're now going to come to our wide leg forward fold. So turn, you can keep your hands on the floor, turn both your feet so that your toes face forward, and folding all the way down so that you're coming as close to the floor as possible with the crown of your head. So if I just turn to the side so you can see, we want to be trying to reach the floor with the head. If it's in your practice to do a headstand, then you can. I may just demonstrate one so you know how to get into it, but if you do not do headstand, or you haven't learnt them with me yet, then maybe don't attempt it this time. We should probably go through it properly together. So if you want to attempt your headstand, you bring the crown of your head to the floor, hands in your tripod position, and then start to take those legs up toward the ceiling. This actually wasn't in my plan, but I just thought then that this is a really good time to do it. So a little impromptu headstand here. And then to come back down out of your headstand, we're widening those legs again. Try to fold those hips all the way back down to your wide leg forward fold. And then all together, we're going to take the hands to the hips and hinge all the way back up. Good. Step the feet together. And we're just going to stand at the top of the mat. Take an inhale, reach the arms all the way up and take a back bend. Spend a couple of breaths here in the back bend. So not so deep that you can't breathe, but just think about opening the front of your body, lengthening through the front of your neck, squeezing your butt cheeks together to help protect the lower back. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, forward fold all the way down. In your forward fold, we're going to grab hold of the back of the calves or the ankles and pull ourselves a little deeper down into this forward fold. Try to straighten the knees to get that hamstring stretch, but if it's already enough with a little bend in your knees, then you can stay there. If your legs are straight, try to shift your weight more forward so that we're not sending the bum back as a counterbalance. Beautiful. Bring the hands to the floor. Step or walk back into a plank position. Inhale in plank. Exhale, lower the knees down and send your hips back into a child's pose, resting the forehead down. Okay, let's come onto our back, and this is where we need our strap with us. So yeah, small towel like a tea towel or a belt or yoga strap if you have one is great. So arrive on your back, just get comfortable, and we'll take the right leg up toward the ceiling and place the strap around the right foot. Lengthen the left leg down nice and straight if that's okay. If that doesn't feel comfortable, keep it bent. And we're just going to let the weight of the arms pull down on the strap and straighten the leg as much as possible. Send the heel toward the ceiling. I'm really trying to work on my hamstring and calf flexibility at the moment. So my hamstrings are really loose. I barely ever feel a hamstring stretch, but because I've ridden horses for 25 years, my calves are so tight. So what I feel in hamstring stretches are mainly my calves and the back of my knee, because I've just lived in a bent knee position my whole life. So I'm trying really hard to undo it. Okay, from here, bend the knee deeply so that it gets to your armpit. You're going to have to use a bit of force with your arms to pull on the strap and pull that knee down to the armpit. Make sure that that left leg, if it's long, is heavy. So keep anchoring down through your bottom leg to keep that left hip down. Good. Straighten that right leg again. Take the strap in your left hand. Bring the right arm out at shoulder height across the floor and take the right leg over to the left. So you can bring your left elbow to the floor here, but keep a bend in your left arm so that you're carrying your right foot. So we're not just letting it go all the way. We're keeping it up and still staying active in this stretch. We're still pushing that heel away. And if you want to continue the twist through the rest of your spine, turn your head to look past the right fingertips. So your left foot is over to the left, so your right foot is over to the left, your gaze is over to the right, creating that complete rotation through the spine. Then coming back to center, take the strap in your right hand, bring the left hand to the left hip to keep it grounded, and take the right leg over to the right. Good, so we're now stretching through the inner thigh. Don't let the left pelvis go with it because that will defeat the purpose of the stretch because we're just rolling in that direction. So really stay grounded through that left hip. Stay active in that right leg. Don't just let your leg flop in the strap. Keep sending the heel away, squeezing the top of the thigh, drawing the kneecap up the leg. Good, and then coming back to center. Take the foot out of the strap. And just lie down for a second with both legs long. So you're just feeling the difference between left leg and right leg. I love doing this because you're like, oh my God, my right leg is a foot longer than my left leg. And it's just always very cool, isn't it? So now let's take the left foot in the strap, holding onto the strap with both hands, one hand on each side, and just let the weight of your arms pull down on the strap. Noticing any differences between this side and the other side. Might feel tighter, might feel looser. But all the same, stay with the integrity of the position. So heel pressing toward the ceiling, active through the leg. So we're actively engaged here. It's so much safer to take these deeper stretches when the muscles are switched on. Because it tells the brain that we're here, we know what we're doing. I mean, obviously it's very scientific, but in the simplest terms, if we're engaging the opposing muscles to the ones that we're stretching, it kind of tells the brain like, we're active here, we're engaged, we're protecting what needs to be protected. We haven't just gone unconscious and suddenly our body's flopped and our muscles are at risk of tearing and our tendons are going to tear if we're floppy. That's, the brain has a mechanism in it that if your muscles stretch, it actually tells the muscles to tighten so that your muscles and tendons don't tear. So it is our brain protecting our body. That is why our muscles get tight or stay tight when we try and stretch them. So we need to activate to let them go. Okay, too much talking. Bending the elbows, pulling the left knee into the left armpit into our half happy baby. So just intensifies it through the left hamstring. Make sure that right leg stays grounded and the right hip stays down. Right leg active. Good. Lengthen the left leg up toward the ceiling again. Take the strap in the right hand, extend the left hand across the ground at shoulder height. Take the left leg over to the right. You can turn the head to the left to continue the rotation. Remember to keep that leg active in the strap, not just letting it flop down to the floor. There are versions of yoga where you just completely let go and relax into all stretches. It's more like a yin style, but you stay there for a very long time. So the body's like, oh, okay, I think we're okay to let go. that this style of yoga that we're doing now and that I prefer to practice is very active. We switch on quite a lot to protect the body in these stretches. Good, let's take it back up to the center. Take the strap in the left hand, bring the right hand to the right hip to help support it to stay down, and then take that left leg out to the side. Keep sending that left heel away. Find the inner thigh stretch. Think about slowing your breath down a little more here since we're coming to the end. So just signaling to the body that it's coming to the time for rest. Good. Come back to the center. Take the foot out of the strap. Put the strap to the side. And we'll just bring our knees in toward the chest for a hug. Or if you want, take hold of the outside edges of the feet and come into happy baby. So you're sending or pulling the knees into the armpits with the soles of the feet pointed up toward the ceiling. And then bring the soles of the feet together. Bring the feet down to the floor with the soles of the feet staying together and the knees out wide in our reclined butterfly or Baddha Konasana. Reaching the arms overhead, holding onto opposite elbows or just keeping arms long. And take some deep breaths here. Feel the weight of gravity weighing down on the knees, letting go of all the muscles in your thighs. The rib cage opening wide as you breathe in and softening closed as you breathe out, closing the eyes if you want to. And either just stay here for another minute or so breathing, or you can relax your legs long and bring your arms down by your side if that's more comfortable. And just let yourself find a feeling of rest. So if you can, just staying here for another minute or so. The video will turn off, so you can stay as long as you want, but I do recommend a couple of minutes. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you again soon.